Countdown? Nope. I guess it ain't doing a countdown. I don't know how to do the countdown, but we are live.
We
What's
are live.
good? Yes. Welcome to the Pharaohs Podcast, episode 42, 43, episode 43. And I guess right now we are the hosts. You got the doctor in the building, Dr. Luke.
What's going on, everybody? What's going on? Good to see everybody another week.
Then you got yours truly, Israel. Uh, yeah, and we are here on this week. CJ Solomon currently is on the way. Hopefully so. On the way. He gonna be late today. But you were here, y'all with us today. Um, Luke, how was your weekend, man? We gonna start with the weekend.
Yeah, man. Like usual, the weekend was good, man. Can't complain. Um, it was a standard weekend. Nothing too crazy. I got a few things coming up next month that I'm getting ready for. So all was well, man. How was yours?
Man, my weekend as always. It doesn't seem it's short enough. It don't seem like it's long enough. It come by and it go. It was kind of busy with the family. Got some family from out of town. Was able to see them Friday,
Mm.
Saturday. I think it was Friday night and Sunday. Friday night,
Mm.
Sunday. One of those. And yeah, my cousin birthday party, and then somewhat work, hanging out with motorcycle people, and yeah, here it is Monday.
Mm.
Another day in the land
I
of
feel
living
you.
on this side of the grave.
I feel you,
But
bro. I feel you.
yeah,
Yeah.
it is also St. Patty's Day, St. Patrick's Day.
Oh
For those
yeah.
of you,
Oh yeah.
yeah. But today on today's topic, got a few stuff talking about. Where you want to get started at?
Let's see. You go ahead and get one started with them. I'll take the lead. We'll start from the top
So,
to the.
all right. In today's news of education, Harvard University decided that they are changing some of the stipulations and the rules when it comes to tuition. They are giving free tuition to families owning $100,000 or less, earning $100,000 or less. Let me see if I can pull that up real quick. Let's see. Uh, Dang, I'm having some little malfunctions. But yeah, Harvard, they're offering free tuition to students from families earning $200,000 or less, and they are starting that um this year, this 2025. Yeah, the
Yep.
2025 through 26 academic year, and they will also cover health insurance. I got Siri listening on the background, and then they're going to cover health insurance, housing, and other expenses for those earning 100,000 or less. Um, oh, excuse me. So in the past, they also offered free tuition to undergraduates earning 85,000 a year, and they said they wanted to make this educational institution more affordable to students, especially those who come from middle income families. Yeah, that in the gist. And it might help reverse and decline racial diversity to its student body. And also, President Trump is issuing executive orders to dismantle diversity. Uh, yeah, it's a lot of stuff going on here. But what's your take on that? Free tuition going to Harvard. I think I might I might go back to school or something. Free tuition. Man,
uh,
earning less than 100,000.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good program. You know, yeah, it's so interesting with everything that's going on because it's like a lot of chain reaction. So I wouldn't be too surprised if it was like a whole little different like revelation that comes with like, you know, the whole aspect of paying for school in the future. Because it seems like the premise now is, you know, to try to save money or to make things a little bit more affordable for the people who are already here. So Harvard, of course, we already know is a very one of the most expensive schools. But I can see a lot of schools starting to implement this, which is why, like I always said before in most of the other episodes, I don't mind the scrutiny of the money that's getting spent because it takes that in order for you to actually have extra money to put into stuff like, you know, education. Like what people spend on education is ridiculous. And most of the time, all you're doing is buying knowledge in order to stimulate the market that you're buying the knowledge from. It's so backwards. Versus when you're dealing with a society, I'm not saying everything has to be fully funded, but when it's more affordable to get it, you have a large amount of people wanting to do it, and the more people you have doing structural jobs and careers, um, that's the better your society is going to be. It's an equation. So the harder you make it for them, or the more expensive you make it for people to get these degrees. And we know when
Right.
it comes to college, college is difficult for a lot of people. This is usually when young people get the highest level of drug usage and things like that, depression, anxiety, all that. A lot of times it's not just because of the knowledge. Yeah, part of that plays a part into why these things are happening, but a lot of time it's the tuition. You know, a lot of time it's the stress
Mm-hmm.
and burden of what the parents are going through to have to support the tuition, which is why they try to make it so imperative that we know when we step in, if you're dealing with some type of college or some type of university or any type of course that you have to invest into, or your loved ones did, like the seriousness of it. So I'm not saying completely wipe it out to where everything is free because I don't believe if everything was free, then nobody would really take it serious. But I think it should be more affordable so that the ones who are willing to take it serious and also willing to do the work that it takes in order to obtain the degrees, also have a peace of mind while they're going through the process of learning. Shouldn't be as stressful to get a degree. Like every degree
Right.
shouldn't be like becoming a doctor. Of course, becoming a doctor is stressful because it's a stressful field. That's why they get paid stressful money. But it shouldn't be like that for the teachers. You know, it shouldn't be like that. Even people who going through trade schools. A lot of these trade school programs, we got so much money. A lot of these people, you should be able to pass out plumber opportunities and electrician opportunities. And the more opportunities that's built, you know, Israel, the more people get to work, the more your country
Right.
able to build and sustain itself. So our generation, which was one day the generation of tomorrow, is now the generation of today. So I think what Harvard is doing is good. I'm interested to see how it go and really what the long term plan is. But I do hope that that's something we see in high levels of education soon. So it gives more people an opportunity to have affordable education, bro. What you think about it?
Yeah, absolutely. Because when you make it more affordable to the people, that's a good thing because you got more people who couldn't at first. Their main issue was money, finding the money, getting the money, and making sure that they can go to where they want to be. Because tuition is expensive. You
Mhm.
know, some colleges is like 10 bands a semester. You got 2 semesters, what, two, yeah, 10 bands a semester, or as much as 40, 100, 100 a semester, which is crazy. The amount of money that people pay in education, and then the amount of money they put in loans and grants and things of that nature. But I think making the stipulations, I'm gonna have to ask, like, do I need to have a family earning less? Like when you put stuff like that, you gotta make less than. It's like you kind of keeping. Sometimes I think you keeping people down to where they're like, oh, if I make this much, I could do everything, but I can't make over this amount. And if I make over this amount, I'm not qualified. So therefore, saying I should continue to make less so I could get more. Sometimes when they had those type of stipulations on it, but also I'd like to see if that applies to like online classes. You know, I could take some online classes, see what they got up in there, and
Well, you know, you
see if
got to
they.
get in. You at that like it's for you. Like you got to get in. So I mean, if you
You
get
gotta
in,
get,
then
yeah, I still gotta get approved. That's
yeah,
right.
yeah. But if you, I see what you're saying though,
Or
and I don't think
accepted.
it'd be, I don't think it'd be too bad because you got to think about it. So if they say your family make got to make less than $100,000, most of the time that they talking about your parents.
Is it
Unless you're now, if you're dealing with an adult,
earning
unless
two
the
hundred thousand or less? My bad.
right,
Offers free tuition to students from families earning 200,000 or less.
oh, 200.
And
That's
also,
oh, oh
yeah,
yeah, that's even more. That's even more people
yeah,
now because even $100,000 a year. A family though, if you usually if the mom and the dad, or if her dad is making that, then they probably can afford the school. And then if you're
right.
a grown, if you grown and you finna go to Harvard, or you older, if you already making 100 or 200,000, unless you just really want to go to that school, you're probably not even
Mhm.
interested in going to school at that point. You're already making
That
what you're
makes
gonna
sense
make
too.
if you go to the school. You feel me? So, I mean, I'm interested. I'm pretty sure they're gonna have an influx of applications.
Yeah, that's especially so. Originally, it was 100,000 or less, and then they upped it to 200,000 or less. So that's they hoping for more enrollment for that
Hmm.
end. And I think they should have something like that for trade schools. Maybe they do, but I know some of the stuff I went through, I had to pay for. A few things I went through was free, but then I ended up not following that field because it didn't pay the money that I was looking for. So yeah, a lot of times when it comes, if you got free tuition, hey, I say at least check it out, see if you can get approved and learn something. You could say you went to Harvard too. Hey, I
Hmm.
might check and see what they offering, and then that'd be another thing. You could offer this free tuition, but are you teaching what I want to learn? Can what I want to study is it being taught at your school? That's
Hmm.
it. But I think they is in probably education, higher education, having low enrollments just because stuff is high. They
Yeah, it's
high,
different nowadays.
eggs high, gas high, everything high. Milk. I don't know about the bread, but I seen eggs. Now I be thinking like, man, if you got eggs, I feel like I'm eating gourmet food now because eggs is expensive. Them eggs, they high. You see how much eggs cost?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Man, it make you think you gonna be a vegetarian. Hey, I'm out there going shopping. Like, man, I don't know if I'm gonna eat anything. I'm gonna be fasting more often.
Hey, I mean, and this is why I say I'm interested to see how it goes. My mentality, what kind of keeps me sane, and it's not, it's this mentality is not meant for everybody. I'm built for it, but it's to get to where you make so much money to where nothing really is expensive. It
Oh
have to
yeah,
be just astronomically crazy in order for it to be. So, but if you're not going in that route, we are looking for it to be some kind of relief in the market soon. Hopefully, I'm looking forward to the drilling. Like that's all I'm really watching. I'm really watching to see when we get back to really hardcore drilling. I believe that's gonna kind of really bring down a lot of stuff because we know how it goes. We all three of us are in transportation. Like
right.
the oil and all that. This is what makes the world go around. Is getting things to where they gotta go and getting people to where they gotta go. So I'm hoping that it kind of bring and kind of ease up on it. But I'm glad they moved it to 200,000 because 100,000 ain't worth what it used to be.
Mm-mm.
So even if you make over $100,000 a year, your lifestyle still have to kind of change a little bit because of how things are becoming more expensive. But like I always say, I had a mentor that say, just make enough money to where you don't even bother you. Like you kind
That
of
part.
can't just you can't put a ceiling on how much you think you need nowadays because for all we know, one day $500,000 a year will be what $100,000 a year was. Now we can
Right.
sit there and complain about it all we want, man. That ain't gonna change the situation. So.
Look, it's like I can say I'm getting to a point where it's like, all right, as long as I got money in my bank account, I ain't got to worry about nothing. Keep looking at it. It's been times or weeks or months where like, hey, I got it in the bank. Go to the gas pump, fill up, buy whatever I want. I ain't got to worry about it because I know I got money in the bank, and that's a good thing. That's a good feeling. But I ain't out here spending frivolously or spending crazily. But I got to the point a few times where I'm just swipe the card because I know it's there. I get what I want. Hey, That's how that's gonna go. But
Yeah.
they should do more focus on trade schools as well. If ain't nobody going to colleges, the standard old school uh yeah, things of that nature. But I'm gonna look and see what they offering at Harvard. It might be. I could say I went to that's a BSU, ain't it? What is that? HBCU? Yeah, there we go.
Harvard.
Is it?
I
No,
don't know.
I don't think so. Look,
I
look,
don't
I done
know.
been out the game, been out of school so long. I don't know if I
Yeah.
want to go back.
I understand that.
But I don't know. He was talking about there was also something with LeBron James as
Oh
we go to
yeah.
altercations.
Yeah, let's talk about
Are you
that.
privy with that or not?
Yeah, I'm familiar with it. I watched it. So basically, for the people who didn't get a chance to hear, LeBron James, he went up to Stephen A. Smith at a basketball game, and he had some words. He was emotional, and he was standing up for his son, Bronny. So basically, when
Uh,
it was kind of hard to see what he was saying at first, but you could just tell he was cussing. So finally, Stephen A. Smith said what he said, and he was basically saying he didn't appreciate how he was talking about his son. Stephen A. Smith told him, "Well, don't worry about it, dude. We could talk about this later." But LeBron pulled the move that as I get closer to the age of 30, I know this move. It's an attention move. When when you upset about something and then you approach the person and they meet
uh,
you with a calm spirit and they like, I'm gonna handle it with you, but we're gonna do it right. And you proceed to stay that way as a man. Now I can't speak for everybody, but I speak for as a man. He kept doing the
right,
whole
right.
look. Like Stephen A. Smith was like, we'll talk about this after the game. But he wanted to make a scene.
He wanted to make
I
that. Yeah,
he wanted,
yeah.
yeah, like that's that stuff that a lot of people don't like about LeBron. It's like even with it being your son, he didn't downplay your emotions. He handled it because he know both of y'all are multi-millionaire. Matter of fact, I think Stephen A. Smith just signed a contract for $500 million or something like that. Some stupid, crazy amount of money. So they very high level men. You got all the cameras around. You got you.
Mm-hmm.
You should be able to come to one another and be able to handle it the right way. And sometimes that means not in front of millions of people. But I feel
That part.
LeBron wanted that attention. He wanted everybody to see like he was upset, which I don't know why, because his son a grown man. Stephen A. Smith's job is to commentate. That means he gonna make comments. Now that don't mean you're gonna like
Absolutely.
all his comments. That's why I'm like, who put some Kool-Aid in his juice before he came out? Like, dude, you know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Like, it was crazy. So it was a bad look for LeBron. And then it kind of upped Stephen A. Smith, even though they're in two different leagues, but he had went on Club Shay Shay and started talking about it. So it's just some news that happened. Just some LeBron being LeBron, basically.
We are gonna. I'm gonna pull that up. Give me
I
a
was
hot
hoping you
second.
could. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna share my screen. Let's see. This one. I'm gonna share with everybody so they can see. Hopefully, you can hear as well. Can you see this?
Yes, sir, I can.
All right. Let's see. Da-da-da-da. You can see in here.
When you press play, I'll know if I can hear it.
All right. Let's see.
Yeah, I can hear it. You good.
All right.
That's
Cool.
a Cartier?
Wrong
No, I'm
button.
asking, is that a Cartier?
All right. There we go. If I could get this, there we go. So yeah, up in that scene, apparently, you can tell. How you stop sharing? Stop screen. Up in that scene, you could tell how LeBron he was amped up, but you can't see Stephen A. Smith, his facial expressions or so. But yeah, it be times where you be in situations like that where you got the one person that's calm, like yo, let's do this somewhere else private, and then you got the other person want to amp up, they want to turn up, they want to make a scene, and the scene don't always need to be made. It's more so
Especially
they
at
doing
that
that for
level.
a statement, right?
Especially at that
It's
level. We talking about multi-million dollar men, you know.
right. It's like man. And then at some point, ain't no telling how long Bronny Bronny and Pops gonna be playing. At one point, he probably gonna be like, "Yo, Pops, I don't need you taking up for me," or he want to be his own man maybe one day and do what he want to do and let him handle it the way he want to handle. Cause I know certain points in time working with family ain't always easy. It ain't always easy. I'm gonna just say that you get the best and you get the worst, and then you just get some stuff that you're not used to because you spend more than the original amount of time with the family.
Mm.
Every now and then you might need a break, but ain't no telling what they family dynamic is, whether Bronny got his own crib or he's still living with the family. Who knows? But still, sometimes in that situation, they should probably talk about it in a different light. They could have talked about it in the tunnel or something. He could have waited. Well, he ain't going. Stephen A. Smith, he ain't going to the tunnel, but still, yeah. And aside from that, let's see, what else is new in the land of conversation today? What
Well,
other topics we got going on?
we could do a little side one real quick. Did you see the incident with the girl who was running track? And
No.
so
What
there was a
happened with the girl
girl.
running track?
Yeah, so I'm gonna tell you about it. I'm gonna tell the people about it. See if you can look it up and find it for them. So it was a girl that was running track and she started to lose and she ended up taking her baton and she hit another girl
Oh,
upside the head. Yeah, see if
I
you can find
remember
that for
that.
the people.
Yeah, let me see. Let me see.
So while Israel looking that up, I'll give y'all a little quick little backstory and then he'll pull it up. So yeah, this is a high school girl, high school black girl, and they were running track and she claims that it was an accident, but the internet
It
is
didn't
really
look
going.
like no accident.
The internet really going in on her about the lack of accountability that she's taking. Like, so and then it got all the way to where the family want to sue and all that, which I can understand because I mean, my sister ran track, so I know for a fact those poles are like no joke. Like, you can clock somebody upside for real, the head, like for real. So
Hey, aluminum though.
yeah, they aluminum,
Was
but you got to think about the force. Like, they running, you know what I'm saying?
you can
They
still get a little
adrenaline up.
concussion or something. Yeah.
Yeah, you pop the back of somebody's head. No, it's not even that. Okay. So it looked like let me see. I got some spiritual bath here. So it's the curved edge on those batons.
Oh
They
yeah.
they
I used
hard.
to have a baton.
Yeah, they hard. Now the rest
Okay.
of it is soft. All this part is soft. But once you get to that little curved edge, if you clock somebody, you could really do some damage. Like, cause they make it, they make that's where they weld it together at. So the welding part is
Mm,
really hard. So I know for a fact that it had to hurt. So I don't know if you found it.
yeah. I found it and I'm gonna be
Yeah,
able
let's
to
go.
share it. Let's go to it. A high school runner hit in the head with baton during a race. We're gonna talk about that. Let me see how to share this again. Share screen, window, this window. That might be it. Yeah, sharing. Yeah, can you see this?
Yep.
All right, cool. Uh, boom.
You ain't got no volume though. Your volume up?
Can you hear it?
Nah, you can't hear it.
Oh snap! Hold up. We are having currently malfunctions. Give me a hot second. Volume. Wow. You was able to hear the last one?
Yeah, I can hear the last one.
All right, let's see. Can you hear this?
Nah, we might just have to commentate it ourselves.
All right, let's see. All
All right, take it from the beginning.
right, hold up. Let me stop sharing and try to reshare. Having
Okay.
technical difficulties. Hopefully overcoming. Share screen. Also share tab entire screen. Okay. Share a tab or screen and okay. Oh snap. I think what we're doing here. Let's see. If I can move this over here. Boom. All right, can you hear me?
Yeah, I get you.
All right, cool. Touch screen. Boom. All right. We are now gonna share this, and we try it.
Turned out to an attack during a high school track and field relay race. One runner hit another in the head with a baton. Janae Norman here with the story. Good morning, Janae.
Hey, George, this is a crazy video that you have to see. It's unimaginable, unsportsmanlike conduct on the track. This morning, a high school track star is still recovering nearly a week after being hit on the head by another runner during a race.
Oh snap.
Yeah, you
Let me
got to
stop
pull it
messing with
back.
this.
Junior Kaylin Tucker was running the second leg of the 4x200 relay in the Virginia State High School League Championships when the shocking incident happened.
Yeah.
That's when she hit me with the baton.
Watch again as you see the two sprinters running side by side as they round the corner with Kaylin on the outside,
There we go.
Kaylin's mother cheering her on. Just as Kaylin is passing the other runner, the athlete swings her baton, striking Kaylin.
I just felt a bang on my head and then I fell off the track immediately.
Kaylin dropping her baton and reaching for her head.
The whole Coliseum pretty much gasped. I just jumped up out of the bleachers immediately and ran to her on the main floor.
The 16-year-old was later diagnosed with a concussion. The family says neither the athlete who struck Kaylin nor the other team's coaches checked on Kaylin or reached out afterwards.
To see that they kept running and she not stop and check on my daughter, that was the part where I was like, it couldn't have been an accident.
The other runner, who attends IC Norcom High School, has not been named. Kaylin's parents say Norcom's athletic director and the girl's father apologized in a phone call, but they're still waiting for the opposing athlete and her coaches to reach out.
We definitely want the coaches and a personal apology from the actual athlete as well, because it's only right.
The Virginia High School League saying in a statement, "We thoroughly review every instance like this," adding, "The VHSL membership has always made it a priority to provide student athletes with a safe environment for competition."
Meanwhile, Kaylin's parents say that they're still waiting to see what disciplinary actions will be taken against the other athlete before deciding their next steps. In the meantime, guys, because Kaylin's been recovering for a week, they're hoping that she can finally return to school today. She's been out recovering.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. We did
Yeah,
hear
that was
that,
crazy.
right?
Yeah, I hear it.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that does not look like it was. That doesn't look like it was an accident. I mean, I get it. Stuff happens when you're running and things of that nature, but that looked like a. That looked like a. That when you're running, your arms are like in a regular motion, but hers seemed like that was a hit. Like that was an intentional hit. In my perspective. You know, I used to run and we did a couple of relays, either the 4x4, the 4x8. What was it? 4x4, 4x8. And yeah, you got the baton, you got your motion going, but that looked like a crazy motion. And Shorty got a concussion off of that. Yeah, that was a hard hit. I'm surprised she still felt it with her braids, but still, that's a hard hit. Seemed like a dirty move. Yeah, but the other family, well, the other school and the other family and athlete, they should have been reached out, because at this point it's like, yo, you don't know what you did. Ain't nobody talked to her. I'm just surprised they went this far without nothing. Because at that scene, it's like you got the parents there. This girl is gonna get handled today. Like she gonna get. Ain't nobody see that. We gonna have to talk about this. Like Shorty ain't going home without some type of reprimand or something. That would have got handled there. But they trying to wait. Nah, it probably won't happen.
That's why I think that is why they messed up too. Because I mean, it depends on what they probably just didn't want to make it bigger than what it already was. I don't feel like the parents wanted, to call it to where it was an assault charge. Sounds like they mainly want apologies, and it sounds like it's a reputation type thing as well, because I mean, and then again, it's their daughter, so
Mm-hmm.
you want someone to apologize to your daughter. So I think that just like makes it a little worse, but it don't sound like they wanted to as bad to where, because in reality, they really could have called the police and they could have made it an assault charge.
Right.
So and then it's on
Definitely
camera.
so.
It's on camera too. So you don't got to stop the whole meet to call the police and report an assault charge and have
Right.
your daughter take to the hospital. But I just don't think the parents wanted to do all of that. So we'll see where this goes. Probably, it's just crazy. It's crazy.
It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Oh wait, man. So yeah, with that runner being hit in the head, I don't know. At this point, I would have gave it a couple of days, but you let it go too long. This what happens. But what else we got going on in the news? News, Coptic news, life news. Um, Solomon, he got his book coming out. Make sure y'all support everybody. What else we got to talk about? Things that sidebar.
It's been a few things going on. Nothing too crazy outside. I mean, I think that baton situation was one of the main things that I was hearing. Um, we got the Chuck Schumer. I mean, in government news, Chuck Schumer,
Chuck, Chuck.
yeah, House Whip. I think he's the whip. Well, he's somebody important in the Congress or Senate. So I don't think we're gonna have a government shutdown. I don't think it's gonna happen again this time. So that was a little news that came up, but um, other than that, I don't know what else was going on. I mean, we know you got St. Patrick's Day today, but I mean I don't know much more. I mean, I know a little about it, but I never deep dived into it. I know where to go to deep dive into it, but
Nah, I don't really care too much for it. It ain't a part of my holidays, so
yeah, that's all. Like,
I gotta read one of these books. I gotta read a book about. I did get a a gift from my special lady friend of the atonement, but I gotta read it. I gotta open it up and read it. That's what I should be doing instead of watching TV. But yeah. Aside from that, you got what else is going on? Solomon's book, only 9 numbers.
yeah,
We're gonna open it up for questions. If I could figure out how to do this. Ask the Pharaohs.
there we go.
Yeah. We got some listeners here. Feel free to comment and ask us questions. Give me your questions, comments, and concerns, things of that nature. We could talk about it. It could be anonymous. Well, at this point, if you write a comment, it ain't gonna be anonymous. But yeah, give us questions, comments, concerns, statements.
I'm trying to think that I
Uh,
can get in. Did you get any this week? I had one for one of my riders. I'm trying to think what it was. It was something about relationships. Um, let me see if it gets to me.
man, relationships. Relationships is something else, man. I learned. What is this? What love is? It's a double entendre, man. It's a metaphor. That's how I feel about it. At this point, it means a whole lot.
Oh yeah, that's what it was. It was the question of it was an older lady. She was one of my passengers. And she's like, so why are young people not getting married like that anymore? Whoop, whoop, whoop. And I think we had talked about it before how like like wedding planning and then just like that season is not the
Hmm.
same. And I mean, I was telling her because we had a decent little ride. I was telling her, I'm like, well, it's a few reasons for that. One of the main ones I feel like it is financially. Um,
Absolutely,
you
always.
know, yeah, like
Gotta talk about the
financially,
money.
when you dating, And again, ladies, I'm not speaking for y'all because I have no clue what it's like. I'm not gonna sit here and act like I know. I couldn't tell you. I don't know what y'all go through when it comes to dating. So I'm gonna speak for the man side of what I've experienced. There is a financial necessity. So if you building your bread, it's kind of hard to think about dating a lot of times. Like, not saying you shouldn't have fun and go out, but the catering side of dating, it requires like you gotta have your money up, you gotta have what you need, and then also something to splurge. Because the dating is splurging. Like for males, that's how I feel. It's a splurge for us. It's not something that determines if we're going to live or die the next day. It's a privilege almost. So if you got privileged money, then you do privileged things. And just like we was talking about with the eggs and everything, it's not even that a lot of people don't have money. It's that the market has shifted so much from car insurance to home insurance to mortgages. And then when the mortgages
Mm-hmm.
go up, everybody rent gonna go up because your landlord has to spend more now to take care of the same
That part.
property that they would. You see what I'm saying? So all of this begins to affect, which will then put a squeeze on the dating market because then decisions have to be made. So I think that plays a part into it. I was telling her, I'm like, well, also too, the relationships between like our generation now is a little different. I don't know where we going right now. Um, because like I said, like I told her, I don't see that many of them anymore either.
Right.
Um, my sister was the last marriage was the last wedding that I've been to, and ironically, my sister married very young, so she married her high school sweetheart. They've been together for years, so that was even a rarity, like very rare. Um, and they're in their early 20s. So I don't know, Israel. What you think? What you think the reason that is, bro? Like, what's
Man,
going on with that?
it always comes down to the money, man. At the end of the day, it's about the money. I seen a statement on Facebook status. It was like men stay single to save money, and women get into a relationship to save money. And I'm like, man, that's crazy. That is a crazy assumption. It may or may not be true, but I know saving, being single, I could say keeping money is a little bit easier. And being in a relationship, it seems like leaving money. Money just seem to get spent a little bit more sometimes, twice as much, just about. So you just got to double everything, which is good and bad because it's like, all right, if I'm going to go get something to eat, whatever I want times two, because on
That's
average, that's
true.
what it's going to be. Because what I'm eating $40, it's going to be $80 because what she got to eat. Right? Right. And
And,
yeah,
and
and
yeah, I agree with you on that one. And then I
yeah,
think like
so
even too with the ladies, like what Israel was saying is, it's so interesting because now we understand what it takes. This is why a lot of times like we want peace. Like we always say that they be thinking, oh y'all just saying that y'all want somebody to just make you a sandwich and not say anything. It's not that. It's
mm,
that what it takes in order to live the lifestyle that you will want requires the man to have a certain level of peace to maintain it. But then it
absolutely.
also requires a sacrifice because, like Israel was saying, I got to double everything I do. And if you're just in a relationship and you're just dating, we ain't even talking about children, but we'll just stick with just two people. So you got to double every time you go to the grocery store. You got to double when you go out to eat. You got to double when you do
Mm-hmm.
laundry. If y'all live together, you double in when you do laundry, right? If you're dating, you got to spend
Got it
money on the
times and a
Uber.
half
Yeah, you getting all of
with the
this stuff.
laundry,
But
because man,
what does that require? That requires you now as the provider of the relationship to work more. So now the woman have to be willing to sacrifice. It comes a sacrifice. This is why I think the marriages are not like seen as much now because the level of sacrifice that it takes to me seems a little bit unwilling to some people. You get a man and you say, "Oh, okay, I want to have this. I want a decent house in a nice neighborhood, a car, insurance. I want to have one child, all that." The level, if
mm-hmm.
he has to work just for the bare necessities, overtime is required. But that man can't work overtime if you like, oh, you always gone and you don't want time for us. And
Look,
like he
I
gonna
gotta
go
do what pay
crazy.
the bills. You feel me? It's like you can't get both. It'll be
Okay.
like in a relationship, you gotta figure out what's gonna work for y'all. But sometimes with the man, you can't get both. You either want me to work, and then we get to live how we live. But if you complaining about me always being gone, always being at work, then some of this stuff ain't gonna always be here. you
And
know,
some of
or
them
you
don't
gonna have to.
understand how hard it is to work when someone is complaining at you at work. Because when you care about somebody and they like, man, I miss you, you always gone. That's in the back of your mind while you working, while you toiling and you tearing through in the world. Because you actually care about them. So you'll begin to beat yourself up about doing
Mm-hmm.
what you supposed to be doing. This is why I think, like I told her, marriage is something that, at least from a man's standpoint of view, a lot of us are stepping back and saying, wait a minute, hold on. Do I want to feel bad about having to take care of you? That is almost like psychological, like torture, in my
Yeah.
opinion. You know, I want to be praised for like getting up at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. I want the coffee when I'm getting up. Like, don't worry, baby. I already got your coffee ready. You have a great day. Like they used to do in the movies, they had a little suitcase ready. Whatever you do. Like
Mm.
with men, if you feed our ego, we can work 13, 14 hours. It ain't the food that
Yeah.
feed us, it's the ego. It's
Yeah.
the feeling like Superman, and then like your woman be like, yeah. You remember everybody hates Chris. That's why they always had Rochelle saying, yeah, my man got 3 jobs. It psychologically works in relationships when you stand for women when they stand from that point. Because I know the feeling of it being that way and it being the opposite.
Right.
You don't want to feel like you abandoning your family. But when your woman like, nah, baby, go get that bread. I'm gonna be right here waiting on you when you get home. I know it's gonna be hard. Some of them write little notes in your lunch box. You know what I mean? Some of them,
Right.
well, they used to. I mean, it ain't. This is
Smiley
why it's like,
faces and text messages,
yeah,
phone calls sometimes if you're able to talk.
and not calling you to stress you out, calling you to encourage you. Be like, nah, baby, I just want to come home. Nah, go and work that double because we got a mission. We got to go. We trying. I got your back. I got you.
Right.
I'm gonna have the bathtub ready when you pull up. These are things that make us knock these 12-hour shifts out. So with marriage, you need 12-hour shifts. I don't care what nobody say.
Mm.
If you
Look, I
married,
be wanting to find the high paying, less working type stuff. So I get it, but sometimes I'm like, I don't even want to do it. Just give me something that pay a lot. Well, I ain't got to do a lot, but it's gonna be a lot of responsibility though. That's the thing. That's
especially
the
if you start
thing.
having kids, man. Yeah,
What?
so I told my passenger when she asked, and she said, I told her we had a podcast, and she was like, well, maybe I could talk about that. I'm like, well, we'll jump into it because I mean, we want I love marriage. I think it's a great um concept. I just think the world has changed so drastically since COVID when it comes to living and what people value. I don't think
Mm-hmm.
they're gonna study our generation because we had to like go through it in the glory what would have been our golden years. So our 20s, I was in my early 20s. You and Solomon was in your late 20s. But our golden age was stricken with stress, riots, disease, um, propaganda, fear, and then now we out of it. It's like people be like, "Well, you're not supposed to have battle scars." What are you talking about? We way different now.
Like what? Yeah, it's a
All we
whole
focus on is getting
lot
this
of
money
type of
now.
scars, man. Right. Get the
All we
money. If
focus
ain't
on getting. You could have been
right.
a, you could have been the greatest salesman or the greatest banker, and you still got fired during COVID. You could have been the
Man.
greatest. You could have went to school. You could have did everything you were supposed to do, dotted every I, crossed every T. COVID showed us that everybody can get that work if your money not right, because it really did
Mm-hmm.
all boil down to money. If you had the money, you were staying in the house, or your family was
Absolutely.
still able to eat without having to rely on nobody to help you out. But if you didn't, you was a little messed up. Cause either your stores down the street then got looted. So now you can't even walk there. You gotta get all the way across town just to get to your supplies to take care of your family that's in quarantine. All your children is stuck at home now. So you gotta take care of them and you still have to provide. Bro, that
Yeah.
made us different. That was like,
Mm.
yeah, man.
Yeah, it's tough, man. That's why now it's like, hey, I go to the grocery store, get enough so I can make some food for a couple of days or whatever I make gonna last for a couple of days or whatnot. And then and be like, hey, if I do go out, I buy what I don't have at home. Okay, so whether that's drinking socially or I don't know, but all the extracurricular stuff, the main stuff you could do at home. Eat, have a
Mm-hmm.
great dinner, just buy the stuff you want to buy, you want to eat, buy it, make it at the crib, and then all the other stuff. That's all the other stuff you can do outside. You just got
Yeah.
to know, I guess, when it comes to your limits on what you're spending, your bottom line, what you're not gonna spend, and where you're gonna keep it at. So then you ain't out here going crazy, you
Yeah.
know. And then trying to figure out, oh, why I ain't got no food? I'm gonna just go out to eat. Nah, that add up. I'm trying to pay my bills.
Yeah, you got a budget. You got a budget. Yeah.
Oh, excuse me. Definitely got a budget. Got a budget. Man, sleep, work, all of that good stuff. I'm
Got
surprised nobody got no questions, man. Any PSA, public service announcement for the people. You got any public
I'm
service
trying to think.
announcement from Love
No,
Lifted
I got
Me?
a few things coming up. It's just it's I've already announced them, so nothing too new. I know we talked
Oh
about
snap!
They talked about Solomon book coming out. Um, I know we getting ready for a few things. We walking into that heat season. We walking into the spring on the way, the rebirth of the
Yeah,
world,
I see
So,
Solomon trying to pop in now.
all right.
Yeah, let's see. He ain't ready yet. Coming in at a good time. But yeah, it's perfect time for spring. Perfect time for change. There was another video I watched. I don't know what be going on with the algorithm. Algorithm. I probably need some water, some more water. My mouth is just. But it's like it was a video on Instagram where the guy was like, "This is the perfect time to get out of a relationship. If the woman ain't cooking, cleaning, or kind of some of the stuff we basically hit, cooking, cleaning, they ain't giving you loving, rubbing your feet, rubbing your back after a long hard day, to break up with them. They know what you need. It's a two-way street. Oh snap! Oh snap! We got the king in the building. Let us know when you ready." Got Solomon. We gonna add him up. Oh snap! We got Solomon that's coming in to the latter end of the podcast. But yeah, it's really true. It's facts. If your significant other not doing what you want them to do or some of the basic stuff was good. Then you gotta let them loose, turn them loose, as they say. Let's see. Da, 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 da. We got King Solomon in the house on the podcast.
What's going on, family? I'm late. I'm sorry.
Oh, so glad of you to join us.
I was listening on my way back to the I want to say this the Pharaohs studio because I love because we got
Back to the studio.
the flag and stuff. But yeah, as I was coming back or whatever, I was listening to some of what y'all was talking about LeBron and all that stuff.
Uh,
Yeah, it's a no
yeah,
go
we
for me.
showed the video. Yeah, it's a no go. Well, you ain't like what he did, how he acted,
Nah,
his
LeBron
response.
tripping. Hey, LeBron tripping. And if I was Stephen A. Smith, I would have hit him in his face. If I was Stephen A.
Oh, snap.
If I was Stephen A. Smith, we would have had a whole problem. You feel me?
Yeah, because it's like, man, you getting personal.
So
Maybe
Stephen
he
A.
gonna play
Smith ain't
about Bronny
finna.
Bron
I'm gonna
Bron.
always
Stephen A.
say. So
Smith.
this is my quick take on that because we got a guest coming in, family. One
Oh,
of
we got a
the
guest coming
authors.
in?
We have a guest coming in. Yes, we do. I'm so sorry I'm late, but this is actually around the time that she was available anyway.
Oh, that's perfect. Cause
Yeah.
man, all right.
So but my little small take on the whole LeBron situation is gonna always be if you didn't hype your son up to be the next great thing, and then
Mm.
he performed like he isn't the next great thing, is Stephen A not supposed to do his job because he's your friend? He's your homie? Like,
Are they homies?
you getting your check. You getting your
Are they-
check.
Right. He getting his check. Are they homies though?
I'm pretty sure they got each other number.
They got each other number.
Hmm.
For LeBron to be in the league this long and
Yeah.
he not have Stephen A. Smith's number, one of the top sports analysts on ESPN. He actually just got $100 million bag. That's unheard of for a sports analyst to have.
Yeah. That's what's up.
So
Sound like good money to me.
yeah, I would have just like, first of all, you did it in the third quarter of a game out of a timeout that you supposed to be paying attention to the game.
Right.
So that let me know that you weren't even paying attention to the coach and what he had for you.
You wasn't gonna hit him, boy. You wasn't gonna risk that $100 million deal. Stephen A. Smith wouldn't think about it. He just got paid.
Stephen A.
Get
Smith
paid.
said
Get paid.
no, Stephen A. Smith said like he wasn't trying to talk to him about it because he was that was the day he got the deal.
That's what I'm saying. He thought about what Denzel Washington said to Will Smith. He said, what did he say to Will Smith after Will Smith went up there and smacked the heck out of Chris Rock? Guess he said, nah, you ain't finna kill my blessing. No.
No.
I'm trying to find.
Hopefully this meat. Oh, I know what I forgot.
My bad, y'all. But yeah, that's my take on that. Like, you could have at least waited until after the game and to talk to me face to face. And man, if you say you got a problem with me talking about your son.
Yeah, that's what he should have did. But he wanted to make a statement. That's what that was all about, making a statement.
His statement was, keep my son name out your mouth. Before the Will Smith almost on me.
What is this?
Yeah, I don't know. LeBron, I'm going to say it like this. I don't know if he ever listens to this podcast, but I'm going to talk to him like he is.
Talk to him, let him cook.
LeBron James. Listen, you'll never be my GOAT, but you are a king. King recognized king, okay? And what you did was set your son up for criticism, knowing that he needs to continue to develop his game. Nobody cares that he went to if he would have went to the G League, we would have been cool with that. But now you putting NBA money on your son so he get NBA criticism. That's how I look at it.
NBA money, you get NBA criticism.
Exactly.
Yeah, excuse all of this noise over here.
Now and then y'all was talking about the Harvard situation. Hey, I like Harvard. That. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, Harvard upping its requirements to to 200,000 for families who earning 200,000 or less to give free tuition this academic year, 25 through 26. So,
well, listen,
end
fellas, I always said from the whole situation of since 2020, right, fellas, that we're gonna have, because of the reset that the universe decided, we can say it was government fault. We can say, whatever the case may be of why they reset it, right? But I'm gonna continue to talk about the Great Reset and the Great Reset of how after 2020, there's going to be more Black millionaires, different people that have wealth, and all of these things that is going to happen. So this is, I think, is part of the plan. Yeah, we could talk about Trump in a DEI situation and how, you know, he switching up the diversity. They talking about all of the things that's going on, but how you doing, Queen?
Good evening. How you all doing?
Doing
We
good.
doing
Good
very
evening.
well.
Good, good. Glad to hear that.
So I believe that when it comes to the Harvard now opening the doors for other people, like I say, it's more so of let us create new opportunities for new people. So I'm going to always be down for that. I think that's a great idea.
Yes, definitely.
Okay. All right. Family, we have a special guest with us today. I know our Coptic faith, we understand that this is our queen, our teacher, one of the great teachers. Okay. The Queen Sarah, but she also her books I know you want to see online. Alicia L. Jones Morris, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Okay. She has a total of 3 books out now.
Yes.
Okay.
Thanks to you.
What?
Thank
All
you.
right, all right. That's what's up.
Okay, so this is how we go do this. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
Family, we got a, like I said, we got a special guest. She was available around this time. Family, I was running late, but I made it.
Yes, thank you.
But Queen, let me just start off by saying thank you for coming onto the podcast. First off, I appreciate you taking out time with your busy schedule because you are a busy woman with multiple things, with multiple ventures and things that you do. So, I family, I wanted Queen to come and talk to us because of all of the things that she do, and I want to continue to spotlight the amazing work and talent that she continues to do and bring forth for not just herself, not just her family, but also the community.
Thank you.
So Queen, the floor is yours. Just, you know, tell the people about yourself and all the great things that you do.
Okay. Once again, good evening. I am honored to be on your podcast. I've watched a few of them, so I know the conversations and the discussions is very powerful and unique. So when you asked me, I was like, "Well, yes," but I'm honored, and I thank God for you having me. So what I have to say is, I have to tell the truth, okay? So my background come from humble beginnings, and I have not always been Queen Sarah. I have not always been elect lady, the daycare owner, the author. I came from a neighborhood that is restructuring now, but back in the day, that neighborhood was our village. And in that village, it was high rises, and others call it the project. And we call it the Abla homes because it was our homes, and that was the area in the community, Abla. And so growing up in that neighborhood, I seen a lot of dangerous things. And it was very family oriented, but we had a lot of things that was going on that's still going on in this society. So one of my goals was when I have children to bring them out of the neighborhood, to give them a better living environment. That was my main motivation. My mom and my dad, they did to the best of their ability what they can do at the time with what they had. So me and my brothers, we went to Medill Elementary School where we graduated. After I graduated out of high school, I went to Westinghouse, um, on the west side of Chicago, where I was exposed to a lot of career oriented people. And because it was outside of my neighborhood, the people that I pretty much communicated with was inside of my school, the teachers and some of the counselors and things like that. And so I was one who I was very peculiar about who I shared my story with, who I told about the things that I went through and where I live. And so one teacher in particular, uh she was like a mentor with me, and so I took her class all 4 years. And a lot of people don't know that was sewing class. So that was my outlet. I learned to sew at an early age, about 17. And my grandmother bought me my first sewing machine when I was about 18. And I got pregnant, and I had my daughter, and I used to make our clothes. So a lot of times people think like, oh, Queen Sarah, she just had it like a silver spoon. No, I used to make me and my daughter clothes. And we had outfits alike because I went to the thrift store and bought clothes that was of the thrift store, but I would buy a big size so I can make my clothes and her clothes match.
Mhm.
So my humble beginnings was my motivation for me being able to be a better provider, being able to be a woman who my daughter can look up to. Being where we come from, I wanted different from them. So upon graduating from Westinghouse, I fell into a situation where I wanted to be like my friends that I was associating with. And I fell into some trouble. And in falling into some trouble, um, that caused me to be a little bit behind in going to college. So instead of leaving high school and going straight through college, which is what my mom planned for me to do, even though I had one child already, I fell into some trouble. And then I had my other child, which was my son. And so in the midst of that, I learned some hard lessons. Learn who was not my friends, who was my friends, who was my family, who was not my family. And I learned that the streets don't love nobody.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
when I say my life experiences taught me as well as my academic. And then once I finished um my associate's degree, my teacher, which was my kindergarten teacher at the school that I graduated from and my children attended school, she told me that when I retire, she said, you work so well with your daughter and your son, and I see you coming in and out bringing them every day. They always clean, you always up here volunteering. She said, I want you to take over my kindergarten classroom.
Oh
And
man.
so that teacher was Miss Webster, and she did not let up on me. I was a volunteer parent for 2 years. Then I
Good
finished my
teacher.
bachelor's degree and I started teaching in Chicago public schools.
Mhm.
And when I started teaching in Chicago public schools, I was only there for about 5 years and she retired. And she
Yeah.
said, now there you go. And so it was truly a blessing. And so that really motivated me, encouraged me because I had others pushing me. I had others pouring into me. And so my mother said, don't stop, keep going. So after I finished my bachelor's degree from National Louis University and I started working for CPS teaching, I went back and I started working on my master's at Grand Canyon University. And working on
Nice.
my master's at Grand Canyon University, I didn't know if I wanted to stay in teaching or if I wanted to go in counseling, because what I was seeing in the public schools was what I went through. I seen a lot of children see a lot of violence, a lot of domestic violence, a lot of
Mhm.
gun violence. They went through households with drugs. Some was hanging out on the street in gangs. And so I knew that in order for me to help them, I had to have a background that would allow me to reach them through a different types of things such as counseling and psychology and what have you. It was bigger than just education.
Mhm.
So when I started Grand Canyon University, I started out in education and I switched my major. And I said, wait a minute, I got to do something bigger. This deeper. It's deeper than teaching them ABCs and 1, 2, 3s. So upon being in the Coptic faith, it encouraged me. My Archbishop Titus, he says, I know you back in school. He said, I don't know what you're going for now, but keep going. And
Yeah,
so
that's powerful.
at that time, I had a meeting with my teacher, the Candace Queen Shirfra. And she says to me, she says, I see you doing bigger things. She says, so I don't want you just to get stuck in one area on education, but I want you to do special education.
Mhm.
She said, because it's a lot of our people that's going to need that extra assistance and going to need somebody to pull them through. She said, so don't just do regular education, do special education. And when I talked to my counselor was like, well, you almost there. You don't have to do 4 years. You almost there because of your early childhood background and your experience. I had already had about 10 years experience in teaching. And so then I went back to her and I said, they say I'm almost there. And she say, you there. She say, so now I want you to do psychology.
Send you right
And
back to
so,
school again.
yes, she added something else on. And I say psychology. I say, I don't want to cancel anybody. She said, you've been doing it anyway.
Mhm.
So
All
she
right.
was my motivator, my encourager when I was in my master's program. And my grandmother and my mother, they stuck by me. I went through a hardship because I had to have some financial things taken care of before I was able to finish my program. But God worked it out for me. I had poured into a family that had lost everything a few years before my program. And so they came into a nice little amount of something. And so they poured into me and
Mhm.
my children once they got what they received. And that's why I think I am that I am God, because when you real about helping his people, he real about seeing that you and yours will be taken care of. And so I
Yep.
was able to finish my master's, do Sunday school teaching, work with the elementary school that I had left, start up my daycare.
Mhm.
And so I say this to everybody that it just takes hard work in your faith. You gotta do you gotta work your faith and you gotta work what you know what works. It only works if you work it. So even with
Amen.
my vision that I had for different things, I had to realize that I had to work it, not just think that it was going to come into manifestation with me just saying, this is my vision and this is what I want to do. So I'm grateful tonight. I'm honored. Now I am an author whom my excellent editor and publisher then helped me over the course of 5 years, correct?
I think
Be-
so.
okay, because this was the first one. And my stories come from my teaching experiences with CPS, with my daycare as Sunday school teacher, and then a few counseling sessions that I did just by doing being an individual consultant, going out in the field for those parents that had been misplaced and children that had been on remote learning during COVID, who were kind of going through some things and really didn't know how to cope with learning at home. So when they went back to school, they was having difficulties as well. So my stories have an academic lesson and they have a moral lesson, kind of a spiritual lesson to it, to help the children build their character, to deal with different life situations. And not only that, I had to deal with my own children in their situations.
All
So my
right.
stories. And so that's where this one came from. And this one is pretty much about bullying. Princess and Prince Adventures, my first path to friendship. This is about bullying. And basically, we all been through some type of bullying, whether it was in the classroom, outside the classroom. You even got cyberbullying now. So,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
Yeah,
you
that's the
do.
this
thing
is
too. Yeah.
Yes, I've been hearing that, social media is like one of the biggest bullying platforms now. And I can honestly say I experienced it for myself. But for our children and our young youth, this is a book that teaches them how to, overcome those type of things in a positive manner. So I really love this one. And my excellent elder, when I came to him again, this one was in 2020. Then what was this? Was 2021 or 2022, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, um, this is a combination of, yes, 2022. So this Princess and Prince Adventures, and because I'm a queen, I feel like all my children are prince and princess. Okay, so this is
Nice.
why the adventures takes place
And
because
this
my
will
prince
be
and my princess, all of them my babies. And so this one was about my first path to obedience. And pretty much this is a young man who has a family that's supportive, but for some reason I broke it down as the prodigal son.
there you
Okay.
go.
And if
I hear
you
you, Queen.
really, yes. And so I myself was a prodigal daughter, and so I understand that when you don't listen to your parents, of course, as a teenage mother, when you don't listen to your parents, sometimes the plan that God has for you can be delayed, not denied,
Mhm.
but delayed.
Great.
And so pretty much this what this story is about, this young man who decided to go off with friends and get involved in some things that he shouldn't have. And, they had to help him and take care of him to bring him back to be the great, strong person that he is today. And so sometimes our children need to know in life that you're going to make mistakes.
Mhm.
Okay. You're going to mess up. Nobody is perfect. None of us is perfect. And I want
Right.
them to feel comfortable with making a mistake, but don't make a mistake that where you can't come back from it,
Mm.
and make them know that you got the support that you need. So sometimes when you're making your mistake, you're gonna still have those in your corner, but we prefer you not to make the mistakes, but we still gonna support you. So this story, I was told that a lot of young boys like this story because it's also about a basketball player. The guy in here, he plays basketball. So, we as African Americans, that's one of our number one sports, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
That's
Right.
right. Yeah.
Yes. So yes. And then my last one, I waited a while for this one, um, because this one is very dear to me. Um, when I had a few people to read it before I actually released it, they automatically knew who I was talking about. So this one is very dear to me because I grew up with my oldest daughter, Talisha. And a lot of times people think that we're sisters, and that's a good thing for me because they still ask for my ID. So I get the privilege of being her sister when we on vacation and stuff like that. But this one is very dear to me because when I became a part of the Coptic faith, um, a lot of things that she knew, that she experienced, the Coptic faith helped us because she was the oldest heal from those things. um like having an absent father, and that helped her heal in those areas. uh Being so close by me and see me go through the things that I went through to try to accomplish and provide from them, so it took a toll, on her because she had to take care of her younger siblings. And so, with that being said and done, this is basically teaching the youth about family background and sibling love and keeping the faith even when you feel like you can't do certain things because it will work together for your good. So, this is what this story is about. And then it also teaches the days of the week. I'm a stickler person for I plan out. Thank you. Thank you, Prophet Solomon. I plan out my week, and I know God's plan is bigger than for us than our plan is. But I'm a stickler when it comes to time and dates because I have a calendar on my phone. I have a calendar on my wall, and everybody that know me know I'm a time person. I'm still working on punctuality, but I love to do things decent in order as much as possible. So I thank you for choosing today when I'm available because I had you on my calendar. Okay, I said that.
Well,
I
look at
said
God. I
that
ain't even know.
yes, I had you on my calendar. I said the next time he reached out to me, I'm gonna make myself available. So I did not do my online tutoring today. So I'm thankful and grateful for this opportunity. And I just say to all business owners that is not easy, but we have to get out here and invest in ourselves. We got to get out here and invest in our businesses and our people so that we can multiply
Absolutely.
like it
Absolutely.
was back in the days, how it's supposed to be. The Black Wall Street event that I just had was phenomenal. Phenomenal. And the
Yeah,
reason
I
why,
didn't get a chance to make that. So please tell the people about that. I know Israel was really asking about this a few weeks ago about how the whole thing because we didn't get a chance to make it. So how
okay,
was the Black Wall Street thing? I know at first it was supposed to be the book signing, but you opened it up to the rest of the people for them to have an
Yeah,
opportunity, which
that
is
sounds
such a
pretty interesting.
which always is a testament to what your mission is and how big hearted you are. We all come from, besides Israel, we come from the same tribe
yeah,
with the Candace Queen Shifra, which represents love, and she constantly was teaching us how to be a demonstrator of that. And
absolutely.
so just talk a little bit about that experience of the Black Wall Street and how was that situation.
Well, I'm not saying it was phenomenal because I was one of the hosts. But I am saying it's phenomenal because we were able to reach a multitude of Black owned business owners. And let me just give you all a few minutes of the post Black Wall Street. Prior to the post Black Wall Street, of course, my wonderful publisher and editor, Prophet Solomon, we had already had my book laid out and it was set to come out on February the 22nd. And I
Which
got
was a
three,
powerful numbers as it was some
yes,
powerful. That was a powerful day and date that you gave.
yes, yes. And that came from I'll try my best to keep my prayer life consistent and sturdy because I don't want to do anything that God is not pleased with. I try to keep my life balanced. Um Spiritually as well as naturally. So that date came about when I actually know I was going to finish up the book. And so then I had appointments in January. And then February was coming, and I seen that it was that date coming up. And so I went into the spirit and I asked God, I said, do I release it before or do I wait? And I waited for about 3 to 7 days. And I believe I prayed on a Tuesday, and I believe it was that Monday, that next week, that Monday at midnight. Whereas the spirit says January 22nd. And I was like, why January? Why say February 22nd? And I said, why February 22nd? And then spirit say, don't question me. And I said, okay. you know, I said, okay, February 22nd. So when you contacted me and said, well, Queen, what date? What I did, I sent it to you. I said, February
Yeah,
22nd.
yeah.
February 22nd. But it didn't dawn on me that it was 222, and
Mm,
that's a powerful number. And so I
yes.
I, I learned um some things. Solomon, I know you learned too. So I'm gonna let you take that number thing because you're a professional. I'm still learning, but I'm gonna let you take that thing. But prior to that, once I gave you the date, Prophet Solomon and Dr. Luke and Priest, is it Priest Israel? Is
The
it Priest
first
or
royal
You said
prince.
Royal
First royal
Prince? Okay. Okay. So when I gave him the date, I said, okay, God, this the date that you gave me. Okay, that's fine. So everything was planned. My location was planned, everything was planned. And a couple of young ladies, 3 young ladies, contacted me and was like, you haven't let us know when you having another pop-up shop. And I say, well, I have one in the spring. And she said, no. She said, we got Black History Month coming up, and then we got Women's Month coming up. She said, come on, Queen, don't leave us out there that long. And so I said to myself, said she absolutely correct, because I usually try to get all the business owners together once or twice a year because we done built a network. So this where the Wall Street came in at. For about 3 years, I've been studying the Black Wall Street that was in the 70s and the 80s. Okay. And so what they did was on that street, it was all Black businesses. And not only in different states, but it was right here. We had a Black Wall Street right here in the city of Chicago. If you all notice over there by the lake in Hyde Park, it's a lot of Afrocentric businesses that's still there, but they're scattered out now. It used to be all Afrocentric businesses, okay? Hyde Park had a lot of African American businesses before they start building the high rises and things like that over there.
All the
And
gentrification.
yes, yes.
Okay.
And so right in the center of the DuSable Museum in Washington Park, surrounding the hospital, before the hospital, those were all of our businesses, okay? And so when I began to study that, and I say, this is why they have the big festival here every year. And I started to study more, and I started looking up old businesses that was there. And there was boutiques, it was clothing boutiques, it was hair salons, different things, barbershops, different things like that. Some of them still there and being rebuilt and restructured, but it's a lot of them that's gone. And I said, this is what we need to bring back to our communities. And so because I've been doing the pop-up shops once a year or twice a year, I decided to contact all the old vendors and all the new vendors. So the 3 young ladies that contacted me was old vendors from 5 years ago that's with us every year. One of the vendors you all know, and that's our very own Imperial Empress Cleopatra. You know, she does Mary Kay, and she does financial consulting, which she is one of my financial advisors, okay, to help me keep finances in order, because you know, when you got finances coming in from different avenues, you want to kind of invest, you don't want to spend it all. She's very good at that. So she was one of them. And then another young lady that sells purses, and then of course the young lady that sells her jewelry, her paparazzi jewelry. And so I said, well, that's 4 of us then, right? Right. So I open up the slots. God say, okay, make it 12. Make it 12. Okay. So I said, okay, well, we got 8 more slots available. Those 8 slots went within 2 weeks.
Wow.
And then I had, when I told Prophet David, I say, Prophet David, we have 12 vendors. He said, 12 vendors. He said, already? I said, yes. I say, but I didn't tell you the other part. He said, what's the other part? I say, we got to get more tables. He said, more tables for what? I say, because we got 4 more 10 tables. I say, and no Black business left behind.
No, that's right.
I know if
And
you
he
go walk down 53rd Street, it's a lot of Black businesses down there over in Hyde Park.
absolutely. So you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So that's what gave me the idea. And my daughters, they put all those phenomenal flyers that you all seen that they personalize for each business. My daughters do that. They have their own business, which is the Creative Party Zone, where they do all party from setup to breakdown, custom cups, backdrops, you name it, fans, everything, buttons, you name it, they do it. Okay. And so they did all the graphic things that I needed, the backdrops, the individual people wanted their business cards, and they was ordering they made me, I forgot the thing, the standee, where you can have your scanner on there where you don't have to tell them 15 times when they come and purchase your phone number. They could just scan it and pay for what they need to pay for. And they did all of that for us. And so I'm
Mm,
thanking God for that. Um, my leader, he really was excited because he says that that's helping the community, because it was people from the community, because we passed out flyers. They came and they
mm,
came inside the church, and they had not, some of them just moved there. So they didn't even know it was a church.
mm,
So we were able to network with the community and let them know when service days and times was, and when class school of wisdom is. So it was really, really nice. The vendors that had food, the food was good. We had soul food, we had fast food, we had desserts, everything. I'm a natural person. I don't use a lot of the stuff with a lot of the perfumes and stuff in it. I'm real peculiar about that. So we had people that was making the natural body butters and candles and things like that. So it was very powerful. And um did a 15-minute business consulting session. I usually don't do it for free, but we family now. So they know. So I wanted everybody to have the right legal documents. So I
mhm,
gave them the steps 1 through 5 to make sure that they get all their legal documents for their business intact, because we here, they getting ready to give us some millions and billions in the city of Chicago for businesses. And I want
mhm.
every vendor, every business, every author, prophet, I need you all to get your businesses certified in federal, the EIN numbers, the state, your LLC, if you're a sole provider. I need you all to get those things lined up intact with your business account, connected to all of that, so that when those grants roll out, we
We in
can
position.
expand our businesses. Whether you want to expand your bookstore or whatever God put on your heart to do, we need, this is the time for us to get
Mhm.
our
Okay.
stuff in order so we can be in the number.
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely. We know you the real deal too, Queen Sir. Actually, not too long ago, she just redid Queen Delilah, Empress Delilah, and myself's business license for the charity. When I say this lady, y'all don't understand. But what I've always liked is that you always bring it back home. It's always coming back to the foundation that we have. And you know, I smile sometimes, as a prophet, as a young man, because when you are able to see the works of what a lot of the elders that what they wanted us to do.
Yeah.
Queen Sarah is one of the people that is really kind of spearheading the business qualifications and the business gifts that we have. So many people just think about the singing, they think about the music, they think about just the preaching, but there is a side to where there has to be a business ran in order to really build a nation. And
Yes.
we all, Solomon and I talk about this all the time. You play such a significant role, more than what a lot of people will. Probably they're not going to really understand it right now, but in the future they will, because when the charge was given out, the charge wasn't just to have, churches everywhere. The charge was to build a nation. But it takes a level of accountability and responsibility. And you've always kind of been that beacon of trust, that beacon of being able to take risk, being able to try new things. Even with the daycare, you didn't just stick with it. You were running your daycare, and then you were also running the vacations, and we always known you as a queen that was just moving. And my grandmother, Queen Shifra, she said it one time. She looked at me, she said, I've never seen anybody go on vacation as much as she does. So, but it was like we admire that. Even my grandfather,
Thank
Bishop
you.
Titus, he used to always joke about that, because he was still in school. He was still going to school when a lot of his members was going to college, because he just loved to learn. But
Yes.
it created an environment to where business became something real in the Coptic nation. It became to where, like you said, the spiritual was meeting the natural now, because it's gonna open up so many doors for us. And I don't believe that the teachings will go in vain. Of course,
Amen.
we want to reach more people, but we know what the issues of our people are. One of the number one issues is the financial structure, responsibility, the organization. These are things that we must learn, and the church is the best place to go. This is going to be the place where you're able to get that knowledge, where somebody ain't trying to charge you $400-500 a session, a course.
Absolutely.
We have teachers and queens who have their own businesses. They're able, like Queen Sarah said, she can walk you through. I know for a fact she just renewed our business
Yes.
license. So she has the credentials, and this is why we don't want to take these things for lightly, because there are so many people who don't have it. I talk about this to Solomon all the time. I'm thankful for the small things,
Yeah.
because you literally make yourself available. We see you at the events. It was an event, a few months ago at True Temple of Solomon. She was standing outside telling the people, "Come on in." You know, you know. But sometimes people don't know who they're standing in front of, and
Yeah.
the level of knowledge that you have, and just how you're able to give and just be a blessing. I think it's a very important part to what is to come into the future. And I think about it a lot, Queen Sarah, because I have two young princesses. So
Yes.
I have to think about where the nation will be when I'm no longer here, and what can I learn? And for like, some people don't know, you always reminded me of my mom, because you all were kind of working in the same field in education and
Yes.
having your own daycare and just being hard workers. And even like how you begin to expand your business, I begin to see my mother do it. So now, like, her big thing is like she has a huge store. She does the online. She didn't got into the digital world. She got the
Yes.
buzz now. So she sells high end online Louis Vuitton and all kind of stuff. But you all have always been an example of, a black woman that is willing to work the land,
Mm-hmm.
and be willing to deal with people, because it's not easy. That's why I'm not surprised, the teacher in you, you really begin to show, because it takes a level of patience when you dealing with business in your people, because you have to stay stern with them but still show them love. So I definitely admire
Exactly.
you for that. Yeah, I think you would, you kind of, you in that light. When we think business and getting stuff done, your name is definitely one of the names that
Yeah,
pop in the
we
head when it
definitely
comes to the
mention you. Yeah.
combination, because you that right,
I'm
Queen.
so humbly thankful. I'm so humbly thankful. Dr. Luke, when I say I'm so grateful, and a lot of times people say, well, you I can't do too much.
Mm,
And I've had a few people tell me you do too much. But my teacher told me what we're doing is our reasonable duty.
mm-hmm,
This is our reasonable service. So when I have folk that tell me I do too much, I have to get away from them,
mm-hmm,
Yeah, you got
because
to.
that means if you think I'm doing too much, that means you're not doing enough.
mm-hmm,
Facts.
And so I've learned to not argue or fight with our people, but to just move around, because as you stated, we had a teacher, a master teacher, who taught us how to love, who
mm-hmm,
taught us how to work our land.
mm-hmm,
And then working your land, you got to get dirty, you got to get sweaty, you got to go out there and you got to explore, you got to experience, but you got to use love and kindness.
mm-hmm,
And so before I allow somebody to allow me not to do my work, the will that God gave me, the assignments that God gave me, because what we don't understand is that we've all been given a charge. We've
mm-hmm.
all been given assignments. And I don't want to be the one who don't do my assignment because you're not doing your assignment. You
Absolutely.
understand me? So this is why I'm very adamant about our people. I love all people. But when it comes to us, I love us the hardest, because I realize that we need more love and we need it demonstrated, because it's an
Mm-hmm,
action word. And that's what my teacher did. That's what my bishop did. They demonstrated the love. They preached, they sang, but they worked.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Yep.
know it worked because when you look at me and when you look at Max and when you look at you all and when you look at the generations that's still to come, and then when you look at their generation, it worked.
It works. It works.
It worked. You just have to work it. And so if I'm working it and you telling me I'm doing too much, I'm gonna get away from you because that means you're not doing enough.
They definitely
So
not
That's what
doing
I
Facts.
enough.
Queen Sarah, I told
Facts.
them that in the beginning of the year on our New Year podcast. I said, if the people don't think you crazy, you ain't working hard enough. Yeah,
that's
people
Right.
Yeah.
around
absolute.
you have to begin to look at you and say, "You okay? I'm all right," but I'm locked in because I think the greatest thing we can do in honoring God and serving our people is giving it our all. We wasn't given the opportunity of life just to give it to give a
That
fraction,
part.
to give a fraction of
Exactly.
all. We supposed to be all we can be every day. And like we always was taught, you don't never know when your last day is.
Right.
So you have to live with that type of energy. And it's not easy. Like you were saying, and you was expressing to us, the things that come up. And we can only imagine just all of the trials that were trying to pop up, the little mountains as you was trying to get the Wall Street project going, the Black Wall Street,
Exactly.
the discouragement and all these things come. But I admire how you were able to look past those things. This is something that I still work on as a young prophet, being able to look past the faults of the people and see their needs. So, like I said,
It's
I
a
admire.
daily, it's a
Yeah,
daily thing.
daily,
It's a daily.
daily.
It's a daily.
Yeah.
But you all are
What's the
doing a
saying?
wonderful job.
What's the
Thank you.
saying? Every day and every way we getting better and better.
Getting better.
Amen.
So
That's absolutely correct.
Yeah.
and
But
then like how you was talking about the date, Queen, 222 is an angel number,
yes,
and it signifies balance, harmony, and spiritual alignment. Okay. And
yes.
so it also represents new beginnings and opportunities. It also represents creativity and intuition.
Mm-hmm.
And so they say 222 is the right one. You're in the right place at the right time. Trust in what you want and don't think about what you don't want when you see this number. Okay, so that day was the
Mm-hmm.
right day for what you wanted to accomplish.
Amen. Amen. You got that right. See, I know you had it all down pat because when I look, I'm learning and I'm not afraid to say that I'm still learning. But look, when I seen you had that book coming out, I said we was on the main line, but you the author of that book. So that's why I said I'm gonna let you say that because I learned a little. What you just explained was a lot. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I got that coming out. Was it this Friday or next Friday? It's the 21st, so it should be this Friday.
Back
I
I'm
on
gonna
it.
will be
drop
getting
that.
my copy.
I'm gonna be dropping that, and then I'm gonna tell everybody when I'm going to have a book signing for it. Probably be in June because I have another book coming out in June. So I'm releasing three
Wow.
books. I'm releasing 3 books this year.
Congratulations. Look at you.
Yeah, like you said, if you don't tell me that I'm doing too much.
That part. That part.
Yes, absolutely. I want to say this. I'm proud of you all. I seen Dr. Luke riding big wheels. Okay. So I seen him right after he got out of diapers. Because
Yes, it's day
his
one.
aunt, yes, his aunt is my daughter, my oldest daughter, Talisha. His aunt is her godmother.
Mhm.
And so we stayed next door to each other in the projects, in the high rise. His aunt and my mom stayed next door to each other, and we were family. We were family before the Coptic faith. His mother and my mother and their mother, and we all used to barbecue and things like that. They used to ride the big wheels and run and jump and play. So I am honored to see you all work in the vineyard for God's will and the way for y'all life because it's a very it's this generation um says that I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that. And it's hard to stay on the right path. But I thank God for you all for staying on the right path, for staying and developing your relationship with I am that I am God. Not that they're not doing it, but you in the vineyard, you using your tools and you working it for the good. So I'm honored to
Absolutely.
see that.
Thank you, Queen. Thank you.
We
Bless
appreciate
you,
you,
Queen.
Queen.
Bless you.
We
Yeah. And look, Queen, you know, all three of us, Solomon, Israel, and myself, we know how the bishop is. So he's not easy. He's been a great influence on all of us on this podcast life in some way or the other. Also
Yes,
even including Israel's father. I mean, so I'm grateful. You know, like you say, it's not easy. You know, we all trying to protect the crown, but trying to
yes,
make
That
sure
part.
that we you know add to our way of life. You know, I'm grateful. You know, I got a chance to see great women and men of God really grow, and it's very inspirational to me. So, thank you.
yes, it is. And Israel, I know you a royal prince, but I just see something greater for you. So you stay close. You stay close and you keep working the wheel because there's
Absolutely.
something greater for you. I,
Absolutely.
I,
I'm
I
doing what they used to do. Master them degrees.
yes, yes.
Some
I
people
only
don't stay
seen
too
you a few
long.
times, but I feel something greater for you coming. Hang in there.
Thank you. Thank you.
yeah, gonna come
Yes,
on up now.
ma'am.
Come
Yes,
on up.
queen.
Yeah.
Look, I'm doing what they used to do. They used to master degrees, but people don't stay long enough for the seat to get hot. But hey,
Mhm.
I'm just trying to tell you, you know, doing what I'm supposed to do, living as the royal first prince should,
Yeah.
laying
Exactly.
and tilling and land.
Exactly.
So I had some questions, Queen, about you were talking about a whole lot actually, but I wanted to just home in a little bit on just your evolution of from going to the children and the daycare and then going back to school and all of these things. How has that helped you when it came to you opening up your class, your for the class school of wisdom?
Whoa, you really want?
Hold up, what was the
Well,
question? You said how long
how
did it
did
take?
no, you want to know with me working with the daycare, how did it help me with my class school of wisdom?
Yes.
Okay. Well, let me just first say that I ran for this for a long time.
Amen.
I know as an adult how hard headed I can be. Okay. I told y'all I got to tell the truth. Okay. So I didn't want to deal with adults. I wanted to deal with my babies because they're pure, they're innocent, and they're like sponges. Okay. So if I could, I would have stayed there, but I know that I had to train others up to go into Sunday school because you can only be in a position for a time and season for your assignment. And once your assignment is done, then you have to make sure somebody else is trained so that they can do the work because God may have something greater for you. And I know it was. And so I ran for a couple of years. And to be totally honest, when our Candace Queen, Dr. Candace Queen ascended, I was heartbroken. I was heartbroken. So I didn't want to teach at all for about a year. Okay.
Mhm.
And I was asked, and I said no, I wasn't ready. And then when I started back going to service,
You felt like you
I
wasn't
was just,
worthy.
I just felt empty a little bit.
Mhm.
I felt like a part of my puzzle was not there, and so
Is that why
I
you say
had
you felt like you wasn't worthy?
yes,
Okay.
and so because I felt like if I didn't do it when she was here, why do it now? And so that was one thing that I knew she would have wanted me to do and was training me to do. And like Israel said, I ran when the seat got hot. Every time the seat get hot, then I'll run or I'll go on vacation, you know. So like that, I'm gonna tell you all the truth. But long story short, the spirit hit me about 2 years ago. And I knew it was my teacher because I can hear her, I can feel her, and I can smell the oil that she was using. And so that was on a Saturday night. So that Sunday morning, I said, okay, I'm going to get up and I'm going to go to service. And so I went to service. I went to cut. We was just coming out of COVID. And the churches was just opening back up. And so I went to cut. And so I visited there for about a good 6 months. And I was like, well, I'm not going to go anywhere where my teacher don't lead me to. And so I was being stubborn, okay? I was being very stubborn. So before I even joined, I was asked, to do an assignment, okay? And the assignment was to get the youth together and, kind of, because they had a Sunday school teacher, but they needed somebody to help her coordinate and kind of organize and get the children, settled down. So I said, well, I'll do it on the Sundays that I come, And so when I met the young lady, we kind of had the same mannerism when it comes to the children. She loved the children. I love the children. She was a teacher. I was a teacher. So we had the same background. So for a few months, I was just there volunteering, going to service volunteering. And so I was told one Sunday that if I wanted to, I can wear my robe. And so I said, okay. So I told my husband, I said, okay, Tobias, I said, I'm going to wear my robe this Sunday, but I'm not going to join. Now, keep in mind, I started going when we opened back up in COVID, which was around November-ish, 2021, something like that. And so I told him, this was like January. I told him, I said, okay, I'm going to wear my robe, but I'm not joining, Faith Temple still my home or what have you. This particular day was on Dr. Shifra's birthday, and they was honoring her. And the program was so good. And after the program, I walked up there. They didn't even open up the floor.
You got to get it.
The doors weren't even open. I opened the doors myself. Listen here. I walked up there. I went to the altar. And when I went to the altar, my sister, the elect lady Micaiah, she stood up. She looked. She's like looking at me like, "What are you doing?" That's how our expression was. And Prophet David was standing at the podium, and he was like he seen the ghost. But I heard her say, "This is the time. This is the place. Go back. This is the time. This is the place, and go back." And so I just kept walking until I got to the altar. And by the time I got to the altar, everybody was in there was shouting. And I looked around and I said, am I supposed to shout or? And so he came down. David came down and he put his head on my shoulders. And he called one of the empress and she came and put her hand on the shoulders and he said, sis, he said, what we about to do? And I say, I'm about to be a member. And that's how it started out. And so 2 years later, he said to me, he says, I need you to help our people. And I said, okay. But I didn't know he was saying in that I didn't know he was saying that level. I didn't ask no questions. I just said, okay. And crowning ceremony came February 16th. And I received the elevation as a teacher in 2023. And I was like, wow, okay. You gonna give it to me like this? And then it just so happened that I had been sitting in the elect lady Anna's class. I had been going to her class. So I was okay with that. I was okay with going to her class. And she says to me, and she says, and now I can kick you out of my class. She said, but we can co-teach. So we co-taught and we co-teach at times. And I just thank God for being obedient, because I don't know if you all know that, but at the time, the World Prince Marquez, he kept going through his downward spirals.
Mhm.
And the more that we would try to help him, the more he would go backwards. The more we would try to help assist him, even with his team of doctors, nurses, therapists, and everything, he would go backward. But when I tell you all, when I accepted being a teacher, God turned that thing around. And every day he been getting better and better and better. He didn't had one episode within his last 2 years versus having episodes every other month for 8 years.
Mm-hmm. That's
That's
good.
good.
It was like that for me too, Queen. I had to come on home. I had a long journey too. That was a lot of miles I had to travel, but one day I had to, and I'm grateful that I did, because, you know, when you see things I needed, you got to do what you have to do, and I've come to accept, my mission is not always easy, because you want to do one thing, but there are certain things that must be done, and like I said,
Yeah.
now I protect the crown, I've always been that person, but now it's like 10 times fold. um elect Empress Esther, she was looking at me one time, and she was pulling up, and she said, I thought that was your granddaddy over there. I was working on something, doing something in the back, just moving around. But I
Uh-huh.
tell Solomon this all the time. I talk to Solomon and Israel about this, the lessons that we've learned, just how far they've taken us. And I'm excited about where I'm going to go with it. But it is a trying thing, so I can definitely understand that, because, as you know, and
Yeah.
the Royal Prince was I came out with him, so it was always, we always had that brotherly bond, and then again, like I say, our mothers were very similar. So,
Hmm.
it was like, this is my mother in Chicago, then I got a mother in Atlanta, and
Yes.
you two always were very able to connect with people with the way that you spoke. And I would hear some of the things, my granny would say certain things every now and then, especially at home, when
Hmm.
she would have those moments where we were sitting down and we were watching TV. This is when she made the comment about how much you went on vacation. It would be moments like that. But she would hint at certain things to where, the teachers of today, she was starting to see who they were, even to the into the elect Empress Esther, just seeing these
Yes.
qualities that were, they're like naturally in you all. You all are able to connect with us. We're able to talk to you. We feel comfortable talking to you. And we know we need these in these days and times, especially with the young black men,
Yes.
especially with us, because a lot of times that's what we missed. But I don't really worry, even with my grandmother's transition, I never worry, because I know she put her spirit in so many of the empresses throughout the nation, so many of the
Absolutely.
queens throughout the nation. She's put her spirit. So to see the effect that it's had on people that's never even met her, but because she lives through you all, they're still able to get that love. And let's be honest, I talked about this on Sunday. The same love and that affection we was getting from Queen Shifra was the love and affection she was getting from Queen Capanan. So
Amen.
even though I didn't get a chance to meet her myself, Queen Capanan, I'm able to experience that divine love, that divine compassion, that divine caring about, God's people, and wanting to build them up to be a great servant. That's what I
Yeah.
think about when I think about Queen Capanan, a hard-working woman. That she stay. I heard the rumor, she would say, "What, you tired?" And I say that to myself sometimes when I'm working through the church, or it's just stuff going on in the church, and it's like, it begins to wear on me a little bit. But I'll hear that voice like, "What, you tired? You tired? You can't be tired." Because when I think about all the work they put in, it's like, oh, we're only starting to grasp at a little bit of it. And Solomon has really kind of, bust down the door, as you would say,
Yes.
in his nature, bust down the door for the world to be able to kind of see all of these great works. That's why I say I'm excited about what you have coming up. Definitely excited about the new book that's coming out. I mean, beautiful books. I know the bishop got one of them up in here in his office somewhere. But these are the
Amen.
things I know. I have my own for my daughters. My daughters have the first book that you came out with, and they love that book. Just
Amen. Thank
yeah,
you.
these are things like I say. It's just touching generation after generation. So
Yes.
Yeah,
And so to your
giving up the
question,
flowers.
Solomon, Sunday school, daycare has helped me a lot. It helped me organize my thought and take it to another level spiritually to help heal our people. To help heal our people because I found out that when you become a healed individual, it's not necessarily for you, but
mm,
it's for you to help others heal.
absolutely.
They say hurt people hurt people. Well, guess what? Heal people heal people.
Hmm.
And so I
Hmm.
found out that through the teachings that I receive and the teachings that I help my daycare babies with, their parents, the class school of wisdom, my students, the Holy Ghost people, because believe it or not, I have more Holy Ghost people in my class than I have students, but we are
Mm,
all students for life.
absolutely.
So I thank God for giving me that opportunity and me accepting my assignment because I know it was an assignment that was coming, but I didn't want to accept years
Mm,
ago. But I was told that when you accept what God has for you, then He'll pour out things that you need, and anything attached to you will be blessed because of your obedience. And so I work with obedience a lot because it blesses me. And if I'm blessed, I want everybody around me to be healed and blessed.
mm,
Yeah, I was gonna say, I've always had this. I came to this realization maybe a few years ago, and that was, what you're supposed to be doing. You can't run away from your destiny. Now you might take a detour. You might say, "I don't want to do this," because I've had those. I've had those moments as well. I don't want to do
Yes,
this. I don't want to talk to this person. I don't want to do that. I don't want to work with such and such. I'm not perfect myself. Okay, I have my ego as well to be like, nah, I don't think that should. But when it's divine order,
mm,
God will put you back where you're supposed to be. No matter
exactly.
what you trying, no matter what you doing, where you at in the world, at some point, what you're supposed to be doing is going to manifest itself. And it's going to be like, you
Exactly.
know what? Like how you say, you just concede to it. All right, God, you put me here. I heard you. I heard you. So I just gotta do what I gotta do.
Absolutely.
And
And yes, absolutely.
what you was gonna say?
I said you're right about that because I was overseas on my cruise and in Greece. And I told everybody, I told my daughters, I
Okay,
said, now y'all,
flexing. Something about I was in Greece.
oh,
yes,
that's
I
only
was
one
in
of the little
Greece.
spots.
And
That's
you
only
know
one
when
of
you
her
when you
spots
when
now.
you
Y'all don't know. Y'all don't know Queen Sarah has seen the world
when
now.
you overseas, you on vacation, you dream tripping. So I wasn't planning on doing any spiritual work. But a young lady got sick on the ship.
Mm.
And my cousin said, this young lady, she was like, cousin, this young lady that fell out. And I said, what? I'm at the bar. Excuse me, y'all.
Yeah, I'm having a good time
You
tonight.
know, it was all inclusive. So
Right, I know that's
I'm
right.
I'm getting all my licks in. So this young lady then fell out and everything. And my cousin come running to get me and everything to my cousin, you gotta help her. Gotta help who? I'm on vacation. I'm dream tripping. Do you see me about to get this matas? But I had to stop because
Mm.
she had too much, consumed too much alcohol. And they had called the emergency team, but the emergency team had to come from the basement, and we was on the 7th floor.
Mhm.
And by the time they got there, I had then smacked her up and down with my towel because I had my little pouch with my oil in there. Had to smack her up and down with my towel. Had them, first of all, I had my hands, I know my hands, I grabbed her, I balanced her head because it was kind of coming up out of her mouth. So I balanced her head because I said, we don't want her to get choked off of it. And then I'm listening to the voice, and the voice said, okay, now tilt it. So if it do come up, it can come out to the side, she won't swallow it. So I tilted, and now I got a crowd around me looking like, who is this lady? And and my cousin was like, it don't seem like she breathing. So then I said, okay, wait a minute. So I knocked the stuff out her mouth. Then after we had to put the pillow under her head, then we right there by the pool. Mind you, we right there by the pool, the emergency team, they still ain't made it up. I'm like, they need to come up here and get here right now. And I just immediately, while we had her balance and everything was coming out of sight, I just started praying for it. I say, Lord, please don't let this lady leave while we on this yacht. This is gonna mess up my whole trip. No, I'm just kidding.
He said, I need her to come on back here now.
But I said all that to say I didn't pray that, y'all. I was praying righteously. You missed the point though. and she opened her eyes and she said, who is you? I say, baby, don't worry about it. Just know Black Jesus is able. And her boyfriend came up there with the emergency team, and they slid her on the thing and they took her down or whatever. So when they called me down into the emergency team thing to get the report of what happened with her so they can know more what was going on, I was explaining to them. And mind you, they can barely understand me. I can barely understand them because they talking their language and they can barely speak English and I don't know their language. And so also the men, I say, give me a piece of paper. I took and I wrote down on a piece of paper what happened. And I said, she gonna be all right. I got to get back up here to this bar. And he looked at me and he smiled. When I got out of that place and got on the elevator riding up there, I said, Black, now why would you do that to me? And I'm all the way out here on these floating on these waters. I said, I ain't Peter or Jesus. But y'all, you never know. You just never know when God is going to use you. And I say this all the time. And I remember hearing our teacher say it. I remember hearing Naomi say it. I remember hearing Magla. I remember hearing Magdalene, Jochebed. I remember hearing all these older queens, even the Dr. Luke saying, take the Lord along with you everywhere you go.
Everywhere you go.
Because you're going to need him. And I kid you not, I needed him because I was trying to enjoy myself. And here come my cousin want me to help somebody that didn't drink 12 Long Islands. Now, if she was a $1.05, now she could have been alcohol poison trying to ruin my trip. But I did what I had to do, you all. And that's what we have to do. We have to do what we have to do wherever we go, no matter where we at.
Well, that's a great story. I'm glad that you was able to come on a podcast and share that with us.
Yeah.
But it was another thing though that we always talk about too. Luke and I always talk about a lot, and that is the traveling. So that was a good travel story. Like our people definitely need to go and venture out and see the world because it's a big place. It's a big place, and it's somewhere that you can gain so much experience and learn new things. So that is definitely something we talk about a lot.
Absolutely.
When it comes to what our people need and should be doing. Real quick, anything else, Luke, did you want to ask the queen before the elect lady before we let her go?
No, I think I got everything. I know we didn't have it here for a minute, so hopefully we can get you to come back in and give us another.
Definitely, you could definitely come back to talk to us whenever you want.
Okay.
working with the queen on the books and things like that has always been a great process. Me and her is like we like a duo. I feel like a powerful duo
Yes.
because we get
Yes.
it done. Each time she needs something, we get it straight to it.
Yes. And you know I don't play about my money, so I ain't gonna play about your money.
Yeah, she don't play at all. She don't. She don't play at all, especially when it comes to the illustrator. She don't be. Well, did you get here from the illustrator prophet? What's going on with this? And did it? Oh man, we be working. I
Yes.
love working with the queen when it comes to her books and stuff like that. I'm gonna have to work
Thank
with her.
you.
Actually, she gonna have to help me. I'm gonna do a children's book with what I have got going on. My new book that's coming out in June.
All
It's
right.
called the Gifted Princess, and
Oh,
that is like I call it my Black Panther meets Harry Potter. So it's like
oh,
a action my first fictional book, but I was thinking about a whole thing about it. We're gonna talk offline about it. But it's
okay.
a
Good.
it's a whole big thing that world that I created. And I'm like, I might have to throw like an extra little children's book just to get the little babies on board with what I built. And so I said I'm gonna
Okay.
probably ask Queen Sarah to help me out with that part.
No problem. No problem. Teamwork makes the dream work.
For sure, for sure. Before you leave, Queen, just one more time, tell us all of the books you got on sale right now and anything that you're promoting or something that's coming up when it comes to the church or anything like that.
Okay. So once again, all of all of my books are officially on Amazon.com. So you can purchase them on Amazon. Princess and Prince Adventures, My First Path of Friendship, My First Path of Obedience, and My Faith in My Family, all on Amazon now. I have a few copies on hand, so you can Zelle me or you can go. This I lunch my I lunch. I gotta say this. I lunch my website. So
Okay.
I've been sending out my link because all the books that's on Amazon, you can hit one link and go to those books and purchase them on Amazon. And the name of that website the young lady did for me was really nice. Give me one moment. One moment. I took a look at it and released it on the 15th.
Oh, that's excellent. That's good. That's good works. Still doing that good works. Hey, I ain't gonna lie, y'all. You know, family, when Queen Sarah finally gets to what she's trying to get to, she is one of the ones how like Luke said that we look up to. Like she is like before me. So it's like it's so crazy that when she talks about our teacher, our teacher, the Candace Queen, the Dr. Candace Queen Shifra, and how what she teaches us and things like that, it's like generational things. Like that's why we call her a master teacher. You know what I'm saying? Like even though the queen is my senior, we still got some of the same knowledge and information,
Mm-hmm.
from our teacher.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's great to me, I feel, that we able to continue uh to share.
That's why I don't touch nothing.
Are you fine?
No, you good. You good. You good.
So the name of the website is Lady Boss, LadyBossAJM. AJM stands for Alicia Jones Morris.com. This website, whereas they can sign up for daycare, they can also purchase my books. I've been doing motivational speaking at the elementary schools, high schools, and women
All right.
conference. So you're able to book me on the website through there. And I'm excited and I'm just motivated about helping our peoples in any other way. Or you can also call me or book me for business consulting.
Okay. All right now. Go
All
on with
right,
it.
Queen. Any announcements when it comes to church or anything you got going on at the temple?
Yes, we have coming up. Our leader will be 50 years old, so we'll be celebrating him on Saturday, October 11th from 7
Okay.
p.m. to 11 p.m. I have tickets for anyone who would like to or see any member from Christ Universal Temple of Truth. That's our next big event that's coming up. Minister Prophet David 50th birthday celebration.
All right.
All right, that's what I'm talking about. Okay, I got to see where I'm gonna be at in October. I don't know if I'm gonna be down here, if I'm gonna be up in Chicago. I got to see
We
where I'm
got
gonna
the
be.
Passover.
So I got to see how that works out. But thank you to the elect lady, Queen, our Queen Sarah, Alicia, L. Jones Morris, for the people who wants to go online and get her book. We appreciate her stopping by the Pharaohs Podcast, joining us, sharing all of her adventures, and also giving us a cool story. I really like that.
Thank you for having me. I love you all.
Man, you can definitely come back anytime. You can always text me and say, "Hey, I want to talk about something," and then we can definitely put you in. And all of y'all are very invited. This podcast is created for us, for the nation to continue to grow and put us in a more positive light, because a lot of people, whether we think it or not, they don't know us. They don't know about the Black Jesus and the Black God and all that stuff that we talk about. Well, I talk to the people down here in Atlanta all the time. They have no clue.
Exactly.
So
exactly. Keep talking to them. Keep spreading the word. Keep spreading the gospel.
Well, thank you, Queen. I will definitely call you later on.
All right. You all have a good night. Continue to be blessed.
Good night, Queen.
All right.
All right.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
was a
had
good
one
one.
of the elects on, people. We went up there. We went up there. Okay. You know, we don't always take y'all up there like that, but sometimes y'all need that wisdom. She has so much wisdom. I mean, just a lot of people talk, but that is a woman of God that is a walker. She's a puller. She pulls people behind her. So like Solomon said, them two have been doing business for a long time. Queen Sarah helps me out in my business over here with the charity. If you only knew how many things that woman has her hands in, that's just, and she's not somebody that needs a lot of recognition. She just loves to serve. So we appreciate her just coming on.
For
This
sure.
was an amazing episode.
All right. Well, family, Israel had to step out, but excusing my tardiness, thank you for tuning in to episode 43 of the Pharaohs Podcast.
Absolutely.
I'm your host, Solomon. You can find me on Facebook at Cornelius Solomon Walker. You can definitely find me on Instagram at CJWalker103. And if you want to get your book published, just like Queen Sarah did, you can email me at cwalker1582@gmail.com. Luke, where can people find you?
You can find me at Luke733leader9@gmail.com, or you can find me at the Pharaohs Podcast at gmail.com. Shout out to all the love. I got a few messages this week from some people. I think these people I think one of them was from like a whole nother country, but just shout out to the love. I get messages every now and then of people just telling me how, they appreciate what we doing. And maybe I may have said something that may have inspired you. That's what I'm big on. That's one of the things I've always enjoyed doing, was inspiring people. So we appreciate you all over here. Definitely hit us up at the Pharaohs Podcast at gmail.com. Throw up Israel's up there as well. Israel had to handle some business. Israel is a hardworking man like all three of us. We always working, we always moving. But he definitely had to go and handle a little business. But this is him. This is at John ATL621@gmail.com. And also remember, Jonathan Johnson621.com is back up. So if you want any of his products, any of his books, definitely visit his website. And maybe we can see if the elect lady can send over her website, and maybe we can throw it in the description for all those people that want to go and check out.
She just did too.
She
I'm
just
definitely
did it.
gonna do it.
Yeah, we all on the same line. So yeah, definitely check out Solomon. Solomon books are everywhere. The Elect Lady books are everywhere, including her website, and definitely check out Jonathan's website because I know for a fact he said it's back up and going.
All right, and family, also, my book, there are only 9 numbers, a book of numerology, will be released this Friday, okay, on March the 21st. All right, 3, 2, 1, 2025. And I could break that down too, but I'm gonna definitely talk about I'm definitely gonna talk about the numbers and things of that nature. For sure. But like I say, we didn't had a great episode. We had a great episode, great guests, family. And then also, if you're not able to see us live on Mondays, the Pharaohs Podcast is on Spotify. Okay.
Absolutely.
Shout out to all of the Spotify listeners. We have Spotify listeners exclusively. I guess they don't really rock with YouTube like that, but we have exclusive Spotify people. So people, family, go ahead and go over there and then subscribe to that as well. We will be on Apple Podcasts soon. We're gonna get some things together and then we're gonna start promoting it over there as well. All right. That's all I got. Anything else?
I think that's everything, brother.
All right, family. Peace.
Peace.